all our beloveds. Here is another day where we can share our insights with those who have any interest. It is more about you these days and a lot less about us. We're trying to teach you independence and interdependence. And what does that mean? Independence means that you separate your soul and its desires from those that are imposed upon you by those outside of yourselves, meaning people, institutions, expectations of behavior. When it does not align with your heartfelt, self-loving expressions of self, but instead are designed to make you small and compliant, well, that's where your soul just screams out, saying no more, no more, no more. But it is your journey to figure out how to seek independence from the outside world while seeking independence from your inner landscape. It is still giving up some sense of control because you are once again finding something outside of your egoic needs that drives you, that propels you. But it is not the outside world. It is now your inner world that is trying to teach you how to be love. Our another has struggled with this greatly because she says, I'm codependent and I have allowed outside people to control much of my life. But why should I now give you guys the same control over my decision making? And we say, well, first of all, because you are still struggling with what it is to be interdependent. Interdependent is not codependent, where you give your power away. Interdependent is where you allow others to offer their insights and you weigh them within your own internal system to figure out whether or not it feels good. Now, oftentimes our another still has codependent aspects, and she will wish to engage in one activity or another, and we will verbally restrain her, saying, this is not a good idea, and this is why. Because when you say this or do this, this is really what you're saying or doing. And it is not aligned with or for your highest good. We wish to teach you to be independently you. Intersectionality between you and the rest of the world. Where do I begin and where do you end? Or where do you begin and where do I end? It is an overlap of where you all fit in, and it is very difficult to navigate. And our another has pointed out many, many times how appreciative she is to have our voices guiding her, because but for our guidance system, she would continue to make many of the same codependent decisions, engage in those similar behaviors of returning to the abuser. It's that simple in her case. But we want you all to know that you can reset your compass, but you need to reset it every day and sometimes every moment. That there is not one single decision that you make repeatedly. Instead, you need to check your compass every minute of the day. When I say this, am I oversharing? Am I overgiving out of a need of trying to please this other person or to draw them in? Or am I doing this because this is my soul's desire to express? And for most of you, we dare to say, you don't know where you begin and where the others end and where they begin and where you end. It is a process of learning, but we are guiding our another so that she can heal as quickly as possible while still going through this process of this intersectionality discussion deep within. And she can then continue to share her guidance, her advice, her knowledge, her words of inspiration, her whatever it is, her life coaching skills, to help others to find this same sense of self. It is not an easy journey, nor is it meant to be easy, because those things that are worth the effort oftentimes require more effort, more time, more dedication, more consistency or consistent application of new rules. But we digress. What we wish to talk about or share today is how your inner compass, when it is aligned with truth, will guide you. And when it's not aligned with truth, it will send you down a side road to your destruction or to your frustration. So today we would encourage you all to learn dowsing techniques. Dowsing techniques are a different way of communicating with that inner knowing. We will have our another post some types in the comment section below. Dowsing is also called kinesiology. There are many different terms because different cultures approach it differently. But effectively, it's asking your body to give you an answer, because your body can tell you what resonates within it. You can use a pendulum. You can be the pendulum by standing and swaying forward or backwards, left or right. You can do it with using body parts. You are the dowsing rod, and you can extend the dowsing rod by using another object to be an extension of your body's response. But ultimately, when you practice this skill, you will figure out how to find this inner knowing within you. Because when you use a dowsing rod and your inner world is still so confused, it can still give you a false positive or a false negative. So you do need to calibrate your device, whatever it is, before you use it each time. It's important because it will help to remind you that when your inner compass is off, so will your outer compass be off, because you are dysregulated in that moment. And trying to seek an answer from within is difficult because your compass has been upset by a movement of the true north through emotional dysregulation. Sometimes you can just ask another person who is not dysregulated and whose internal compass you trust through intuitive knowings or whatever you want to call it. Not so much a head knowledge, it's a heart response. It comes from a loving and compassionate place within you and not your head knowledge, which oftentimes convinces you of things that are not in your best interest, because your head oftentimes is your manager who overrides your dysregulation by managing the process instead of solving the underlying issue. Victims of abuse will know what it is that we speak of, because when somebody hits you, you just simply say, well, I won't do that again. I will be better behaved. That is your manager telling you what to do, but is not aligned with getting you out of an unhealthy placement. Does that make sense? This is why we wish for you all to know that sometimes your head guidance, which you consider your inner guidance, is not well suited to protect you, because It's suited to protect you, to keep you alive, but not to get you out of the unsafe experience within which you find yourselves. So we shall call it a day today and offer you some dowsing or kinesiology options and just ask you to play with them. Find your own internal trust in the system and use it for little things. Which meal should I have when there are 2 items that I can't choose between where there really is no harm? Build upon that. You don't make major life decisions with anything like this. You need to build up a resiliency within your trust system so that when you get to the major life decisions, you look at it from a multifaceted, multi-pronged perspective. But the beginning starts with this kinesiological inner knowing of where you desire to go. And then you build a logical, practical solution on top of that. Jumping off of a perfectly good cliff because you're in an abusive situation is generally not the way to go, because you are assured certain death at the bottom of that cavern. It's your path that matters. It is your journey that matters. It is not the destination. We keep wishing to remind you of that so you can try to find enjoyment within the day-to-day, even though some days it is very difficult and it hurts. And so it is. Namaste.